And our first speaker is Matthew James. He is the pastor of Trinity Bible Church in Rock Hill, South Carolina. In 1995, he joined the staff as associate pastor and became the senior pastor in 2000. Today's speech comes from the Advanced Communication Series, Speeches by Management, project number 4, Communicating Change. Requires Matthew to introduce a new idea or change to establish operations or methods, show the audience how the change will benefit them, and overcome any resistance to the new idea and gain the audience's support. Matthew will present a new resource in his church's structure called Coaches. Woohoo! The setting for this event is a Sunday morning service where this information can reach Trinity's largest audience. His speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Help me welcome Matthew James.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome Trinity Bible Church. Glad you all are gathered together today because this is an important event since the deacons and the elders have asked me to explain to you something that we have decided is going to help make our church stronger. And each of you have a role to play in it. I hope that by the time we're through with this explanation, you're going to wholeheartedly embrace this addition to our resources and be excited about the future that lies ahead of us. Let me take, for the sake of example, in explaining the current scenario and how things are going to be better, let me take just a few of our many different ministries. I'd like to choose to focus your attention for today on specifically our Sunday school ministry, our missions ministry, and our outreach ministries. And they're just representative of many other ministries that make up all of the activity of our church. And what you're used to is understanding that the pastor and the deacons govern in all of the physical aspects of these operations. And you're used to the pastor and the elders governing in concern to all of the spiritual aspects of these operations. That's what our Constitution and bylaws calls for as the government within our church. So the pastor, deacons, and elders are providing the leadership of the church ministry. And that makes sense to everybody. Everybody's comfortable with that. But what we have discovered over the past several years is that the success of this idea of leadership coming from this body to all of these other parts of our organization counts on a very important assumption. The assumption is that the pastor, elders, and deacons possess all of the necessary spiritual gifts to make the leadership and management of this whole thing effective. But what if the men in this leadership structure don't possess all of the necessary spiritual gifts to make the leadership and management of this whole thing effective? Then we have to bring in another resource. Those spiritual gifts have to come from another place. And as we have sought the Lord, as we have investigated and researched what other brothers and sisters in other congregations have found useful and some best practices from some of the better ideas we can collect within our research, we've made a decision that has been in development now for a couple of years. Some of you have heard about this already. It hasn't been a covert operation. We haven't been trying to keep it secret, but we have been trying to develop it to maturity, to the point that it's ready to introduce to you and roll out and say in a way that we can with confidence ask you to embrace this idea because we are confident it is going to work. So what we are introducing to you today is another element of this structure that we are calling coaches. And the coaches are going to be available as a resource to whatever ministry you happen to be a part of to input the kind of management and administrative helps that are going to make your particular ministry successful. Some of you have experienced the frustration of this inadequacy in this present structure. Some of you have brought an idea to me, and you have waited to see that idea turn into action. And weeks have turned into months, and months have turned into quarters, and still you're waiting for your idea to show up. Some of you have brought ideas to elders and to deacons, and you're still waiting for that idea to show up. And sometimes you're tempted to scream out in frustration, don't these people care? Don't these people know what their job is? Don't these people fill in the blank with whatever your particular flavor of complaint is? What we have discovered is the missing element is the spiritual gifts required to make the leadership and management of this whole thing work very well. What we find at this level is that the pastor, deacons, and elders have the gift of leadership to make good decisions, to discern right choices, and to deliberate in ways that are really productive for the congregation. Unfortunately, that has a corresponding weakness attached to it. We deliberate so well that it's possible for us to think a good idea to death. What has to come alongside leadership is good management. And the management aspect of what we need to do in order to make all of these ministries successful is the input of management resources. Because those gifts are not as abundant within this part of our structure as they need to be. So, what we have identified is several individuals within our congregation who have this type of skill sets. They know how to prevent things from getting stuck. They know how to take an idea and break it into its execution steps. They know how to identify what the next step is. They know how to identify where resources are available and willing and tap those resources to turn the ideas into action. We have selected these people not on the basis of anything but their spiritual qualification as born-again people that are proven in the maturity of their faith and who have given evidence of possessing the spiritual gifts to input this resource. You all know Rain. You all know Coit. You all know Wanda. You all know Nate. You all know Arene. And you all know me. The 6 of us are the members of this coaches team. And they are going to be following the input of the pastor, elders, and deacons. As the pastor, elders, and deacons identify projects that need to be advanced, they're going to ask for the assistance of coaches to then help align, mobilize, and resource all of the ministries that are going on within our church to get things done. No more thinking stuff to death. And the key to that departure from our norm is going to be the spiritual gifts that are released from this new resource within our structure. We're asking you to embrace it. We're asking you to pursue it. And we're asking God to bless it. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. That's Toastmasters.